Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Today on the Daily Review, we discuss a film from 1987 starring Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep and Tom Waits. Oh, wait, you already know because of the title. It's Ironweed. Yay, with your host, me, Professor Joe LaRocca. I had never seen Ironweed before, and I had dinner with my buddy Mike, college friend. He's still my friend. I met him in college, you know what I mean. Introduced me to a lot of cool things, you know. I got really mad at him because he saw Tar in the theater, and I know he's only seen like 4 movies in the theater in the past like 5 years, just because he has a child and doesn't get to just go and watch movies. And then the fact that he saw in the theater, I was just like mad that he's able to just like snipe in on these perfect oh, here's a perfect movie for you, and you just found it, lasered in on it, and it's like one of the better movies of the year. They're one of the best movies of the year. We'll see what happens when it all comes out in the wash. Anyway, he recommended this movie, and so I was like, he's probably right. And yeah, he's right. It's really good. It's based on a book by somebody George Kennedy, I believe. That came out a few years before, and it's about these just desperate loser drunks in Albany, New York during the Depressions, like 1938. And yeah, Jack was like a former baseball player. His name is Francis Phelan. That's so good, right? That's such a literary name, Phelan. Because, you know, it sounds like failing. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. But he has this like tragic past that he was a baseball player and killed a guy, and I won't spoil all of it, but like all these tragedies happened that led him possibly to a certain way. You kind of have to decide if he is like this plagued saint or like literally the angel of death. I mean, it's pretty fascinating. It's about addiction, you know, and it's about rationalization, how people rationalize events in their lives. Both ones that they had control over and ones they had no control over, situations you're born into or whatever, or, you know, something you didn't have any agency over. But it's really complex character development, and I guess that's what's really unique about it. And what I found refreshing and unique was that these type of characters rarely get, in cinema at least. I'm sure there's tons of plays and books about this, but they just don't really get the cinematic treatment of the like in-depth, complex human emotion homeless person movie. You know, that's like not, you know, it's usually used as like a joke, or like you know what I mean, or a side character, or like some magical character that comes in and is like, don't be home alone or whatever, ride your roller skates, eat your turtle dove soup or whatever. What was that movie about? Donald Trump, I think. One interesting poster. It's like it doesn't want that's like a perfect poster for this movie. It's like it doesn't care that you can't see it. You know, it's perfect. It's like, here, we're not going to give you too much. It's a real. I would say it's a slow burn, but a slow burn means it usually ramps up to something. It's very consistent. Although there is a climax, it is just like, it's very novelistic, and we're just going through it. And if you're not feeling the vibe, I could see people like being terribly bored or not liking this movie. But I mean, if you're interested in cinematography and production design and performances, then and period pieces, like all just the details in production design, the period is enough to keep somebody like me involved, just because I'm so interested in that. I think audiences probably didn't really get down with the bleakness, didn't make a lot of money, but we did do well critically and was nominated for stuff. I think it was Meryl Streep's 43rd nomination and Jack Nicholson's 15th, or I don't know. They neither won though. Yeah, if you're a Tom Waits fan, you gotta see it. There's a part where he sings, and he sings really bad, and you're like, that's funny. That's a fucking cool idea. You know what I mean? And you know how he kind of like sings bad anyway, but he like sings like really bad. And there's so many heartbreaking scenes where Meryl Streep, who we know, it's also refreshing about this, she gets like her story gets just as much time as Jack's. Like we sometimes the story will derivate and just completely deviate, maybe is a better word, and go completely down her storyline for a little while, and then things are told through flashbacks. So they do very good transitions from time periods because that's a hard thing to do. And they also transition well in and out of fantasies, which it works because they're alcoholics and they're like living on the street and they're like ill and they're like not eating properly. So it would make sense that they have like delusions and illusions or like manifestations of things. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the actual depiction of the ghosts of Franny Phelps's Phelan's past. It's a little bit theatrical. It's a little like Scrooge, but the concept I'm down with because it adds to like some sort of Shakespearean element that I think is probably happening in this movie, but I'm not smart enough to know about because it is like a tragedy of maybe America as a whole, right? Maybe is that what maybe it's about? I don't know. I've only seen it once. You've only seen a movie. You haven't seen a movie until you've seen it twice. Remember if that was the original? That was going to be an offshoot show of this show when the PJDR network was going to take off. That's Professor Joe's Daily Review. I just came up with that acronym. PG. Okay, we're off topic. Heartbreaking scenes. Yeah. So Meryl Streep was a singer and was on the radio and stuff, but and then she gets drunk one night and they get her up on stage and she sings and everybody's loving, comes off the stage and Jack is like, that's as good as it gets, baby, and everybody's like, yay. And then it cuts back and people are just like, and so being able to see into the fantasies and stuff, that can be hard and problematic, I will say, to integrate into a movie without it looking silly or coming off like you're being really manipulated. And I think they're allowed to do it because of the slow pace, and it's never outrageous. It's never really, really like shocking editing. It's just nice, smooth transitions. Very interesting. And then I realized this movie, Hector, I don't look how you pronounce his last name. I did a thing so that it'll tell me how to pronounce it. I don't even think it's that strange. He's Argentinian, but I don't know really where to put the accents. Now it's taking too long. Hector Babenco. Hector Babenco. I don't know. William Kennedy was a novelist, obviously, not George Kennedy. And he did a movie previously that's really amazing that I like, that got a lot of critical acclaim, Kiss of the Spider Woman. So check that movie out with William Hurt and Raul Julia. So that came out a few years before this, so he got like a big budget to make a big movie, and he went, I'm going to make a bleak Depression-era movie that nobody's going to see, but will hopefully be appreciated by a small group of elite, arrogant people like me. No, I'm just kidding. I honestly think a lot of people could enjoy this movie and relate to it, and it's not pretentious really at all. It's like you just gotta be down for the pace, and you can always watch it in like 2 sittings, and it would be all right. I forgive you. Anyway, I'm sure Hector doesn't like that though. Anyway, like and subscribe, every day. Give me as much as you want. I was throwing up all morning. Isn't that crazy? I haven't thrown up in like years. And just from like 5 a.m., I think it must have been something I ate. I won't say where I ate last night then, because maybe that's what it was. Anyway, I feel a little dizzy. I should eat some food now. Okay, this has been a disaster of an episode. Okay, what I learned from this movie is that if you have like a visual consistency, with really vibrant performances on top of it, it's good. No, I mean, like there's something you can do where you can have like a monotony in the tone of your sets and costuming and backdrops and weather and just time of day. It's just all kind of grimy and depressing. But then put these like active, maybe even a little bit over the top performances on top of it, and it makes them pop because it makes their performances are just so much more saturated with color than the surroundings. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Yeah. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. I think I might review The Outfit. Am I supposed to watch that? I don't know. I gotta see The Menu, and I gotta see Banshees, and I gotta see Yo Mama. She owes me money.